the people will tell you, you'll be like, man, we need some new songs to shake our ass to, like, you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah, they will, especially women that love the party, they will tell you that.
right, and so it's that type of thing to where I just listen to the people. I listen to the city. I listen to, what's going on. I see what's missing and go from there.
Hello, my name is Deja. I'm a contributing writer with True Urban Culture. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I graduated from Morgan State University this past spring. Yeah, HBCU. Yeah, so
Likewise.
yeah, so I'm super excited to be interviewing you. I've been doing so much research with everybody calling you the super producer, and then also with you, you work with so many stars that I like, Travis Porter, City Girls, obviously. I was super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, City Girls, like I'm so excited. But yeah, I'm super excited to get to know you, your producing work, and so much more.
Likewise. Yes. I'm excited. That whole Travis Porter era was amazing. So
yeah,
we can talk about that. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like a lot of people don't give them the props that they deserve though, because like that era, and to be honest, they still like play a lot of their music at parties and stuff too. So
right.
If they make a comeback, I'll be super excited.
Hey, I'm telling you, we had the party going during those days. It was crazy.
Yeah. But well, speaking of like the City Girls, since it was like problems when it like basically got leaked and stuff, and many people heard it and all that, and a lot of people were basically begging for it to like for them to release it. How did you feel about it finally being cleared?
It was, hey man, I ain't gonna lie, it's been a crazy like year and a half, because when it got leaked, how I found out it got leaked, on my Twitter and Instagram, people were at me saying, what's up with this song? Why isn't it out? Can you send me this song? DJs, dancers, like a bunch of women was asking for it. And so I just had to play dumb for like almost like it's not coming out. It's not coming out. It's not coming out. So just to go through that, it's a huge relief, because once the record blew up, like on TikTok and everything, it was really out of everybody's hand at that point. And we just had to get, the business side taken care of. That was a journey. So shout out to everybody that played a part in that, from QC to the label, the major label. It was a whole team effort. Even the A&R Brandra, she was helpful. So it was a process, because I actually had to do like several different versions of it to try to get it, try to rectify the whole situation.
Wow, that's like super crazy, because like I first heard it on TikTok, and I'm always on TikTok. That's when I first heard it, and that's when I'm like, oh, let me see if it's on Apple Music. It wasn't on Apple Music, so and that's when I learned that it didn't get cleared. I was like, oh, well, hopefully they do get it cleared, because that record, it was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the biggest record it was like one of the biggest records of my career that wasn't even out. It was like the strangest feeling ever. Just like everywhere you go, you was online, you was hearing it. I was hearing it in the clubs. DJs on the radio made their own clean version to it. And I'm just like,
oh man, how did you feel about that? Like, you just hearing the record and you just like, oh man, it haven't been cleared yet,
It's a blessing always to have, records that people like. Because people don't understand, like to have a record go from like your head, like when I did the beat, and to have it go from your head, it's from your head to the artist and then to the world, and they love it. It's an amazing feeling always, you know what I'm saying? So but even though it was, like I said, it was still weird at the same time, because you couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't post about it, I couldn't tweet about it. It was crazy.
Oh man, well, has there been other like situations of songs that didn't get cleared that you produced?
No, this was actually the first one out of all the songs I sampled that didn't necessarily get cleared instantly. And honestly, it's because of a situation with Africa Bambaataa, group Kraftwerks. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they actually, some kind of way, they own the rights to their song. So it wasn't Africa Bambaataa we necessarily had to. It was other parties that we didn't know about, that I didn't know about. So that's what made it a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, how did you find out that that the song got cleared?
Just between talking with Coach K over at QC, Coach K, and like I said, Brander, the A&R over there, one of the A&Rs over there. Like, yo, we working on it. And it was just a process, and then that's, one of the things I would tell people, you really got to trust the process. It sounds cliche. Yeah, it's a hashtag, but it's real, You really got the process and the people involved. It takes a team effort, and it got clear, so it was really that type of situation.
Yeah, well, that's really, really good. You mentioned you like listening to beats and all that type of stuff. What is like the process of you creating a beat, and do you ever like get producer's block? Like, can't like figure out the beat that you're particularly looking for?
Yeah, my whole process comes from like me being a DJ first and foremost. I used to be a DJ at first, and just reading the crowds. If you ever come to Atlanta anytime soon, people will tell you I'm out probably a week. But that's part of my process, is just observing the people. Yeah, I'm not one of those, I'm gonna ask the A&R or that type of thing. It's cool, but I kind of know what's missing just by, being out, interacting with the people, young ladies like yourself, because the people will tell you, you'll be like, man, we need some new songs to shake our ass to, like, you know what I'm saying? Because
they will, especially women that love the party, they will tell you that.
Right. And so it's that type of thing to where I just listen to the people. I listen to the city. I listen to, what's going on. I see what's missing and go from there.
Yeah, that's really good. You mentioned Atlanta. I have never been to Atlanta ever before. My friends have gone, but I have never been to Atlanta. And I always hear about like the music industry down there. How like a lot of people, well, on Twitter, people talk about how like in Atlanta, a lot of people basically put each other on. And like me, I'm from Baltimore. Our music scene, it's always talk about how Baltimore artists is never like together, So what are your thoughts on like Atlanta music, music down Atlanta? Like,
I mean, it's all connected. We all know each other in some shape, form, or fashion. How, like just how I got connected with Travis Porter, like we mentioned earlier, their whole team, Charlie, at the time, their manager, Charlie, he used to be Soulja Boy's cameraman when he first started out.
Oh, so like lately.
Soulja Boy started my career. Let's go.
Yeah, I've read that.
Yeah, so he started a lot of stuff, but we could go on record saying Soulja Boy started Mr.Hanky's career. But it's because of him that Twerkulator is here. Yeah. But no, but seriously, like, those type of things to where, we see each other out. I would see Quiz, I would see Strap, Ali out all the time. They were just three bad little dudes starting fights in the clubs. And I was like, hey, man, what y'all doing? And I found out they rapped, and then Charlie was working with them. And from there, you had people like Waka Flocka. Everybody was really like, we all knew each other. And even before then, when I was working with College Park, one of my buddies from college actually grew up with the Yin Yang Twins. That's how I got connected with College Park. And we just started working from there. They was like, hey, man, I like your beats. I like what you got going on. They was like, we should work together. I was like, okay, cool. That's all right. And it went from there. From people I went to school with, from like Gucci Man to OJ the Juice Man, it's all the same community. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not if you're in the industry and you're in Atlanta, you're not, you know, tapping in with that, you're doing yourself a huge disservice because it's right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard about like Atlanta. That is like it's really connected. Like it's really connected and close.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Definitely.
you mentioned college. So I read that you also went to HBCU, Southern University. Do you
The
think?
D University.
Hmm?
The Southern University.
Oh, let me correct.
I'm
Geez,
joking.
university. Do you think that shaped you into like the producer you are today?
Yeah, it definitely did. Because that's when I was DJing a lot. I would do a lot of stuff for like the Greek, the step shows. I actually did all the show music for all the Greeks during my time.
Mm-hmm.
I would do a lot of the parties at the clubs and everything, and that's really where I learned. Because you know, when you go to college, being from Atlanta, I only knew Atlanta culture. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when I got to Louisiana, I learned Louisiana culture. Was a lot of people from California there, so I learned what I knew about the hyphy movement before it even got started because
Mm-hmm.
they keep the sneak. They was putting me on, so I learned like Southern really helped a lot as well as just with me growing as a person and gathering information and understanding how people work. So definitely, man, I can't. I tell kids all the time, even if you don't think college is for you,
Mm-hmm.
I think you should definitely go. Just for the networking aspect to open your mind to other different cultures, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's part of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree because well, I stayed in Baltimore with going to Morgan State, but I learned so much about different cultures. Like I didn't know nothing about PG County. I didn't know nothing until I went to Morgan, DC, all of that, their slang, their music, all that. I didn't know none of that, but when I went to Morgan, oh, I knew that go. I knew the PG slang, the PG artists. So it definitely
Right.
you definitely will be able to learn about more cultures if you go to college, no matter where they're from, too.
There you go.
So do you like was producing always your passion? Like, did you when you were younger, did you ever think of like any other career paths?
Oh yeah. I mean, believe it or not, at one point I thought I was gonna be in the NBA. Um, but that died quickly. And
Play sports?
but yeah, at one point I played basketball a lot. And then music just came so easy because of my upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
My mother, just being around her all the time, going to choir rehearsal with her, learning how to play the piano. All that it was second nature, especially with me playing in the band and all this other stuff. So at one point I thought I was going to be a band director. That's what I actually went to Southern for, to be a music educator. And while I was there, like I said, I started DJing. I just started realizing there's other avenues that I'm actually good at. And I was be honest, I was just making beats as a hobby. I ain't gonna even lie. We were making beats just to freestyle to while we were smoking. And did I say that? While we was chilling in the dorm and freestyling during those times. And but yeah, we were just in there chilling in the dorms and stuff and kicking it. And so I was just making beats as a hobby. And I didn't know you got paid for it. I knew, you know, people made money, but I didn't know how it worked. And
Mm-hmm.
I started coming around people when I got back to Atlanta, and I was just playing beats for them. They're like, "Hey man, I like that. I like that." I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever. You can rap to it."
Mm-hmm.
And when I got my first check, I was like, "Oh, oh, this,
Curious.
this for real." Like, okay, well, let me see how this goes. And then I got a big placement with Young Jeezy on his second album, and it just went from there with Hurricane Chris, then Soulja Boy, VIC, then came the Travis Porter era, Waka Flocka era, Walk Around the Club, Bump Everybody's song. Wobble came out of nowhere. That was part of the whole VIC. Um, that was part of the whole VIC era, but yeah, that type of thing.
Wow, so you're like really embedded in Atlanta music, period. That's why they call you the super producer. You're really intertwined in that. I like that. I like that. Well, do you like I'm trying to get my word in. Do you see yourself what other artists do you see yourself working with in the near future? Like what are some artists do you want to see on your beats? Like any artist.
Um, yeah, right now I'm working. I'm actually developing my own artist right now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, by the name of Kissy Lee. She has a song called "Sheesh" going up the charts as well. With light skin Keisha, shout out to her. So I've been doing that. A lot of that type of thing. I have my own single coming out with Erica Banks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm dropping my own single.
Right.
It's another twerk song. It's gonna be amazing. You're gonna love it. You and your friends. Um,
Be
but yeah,
like, I know that song.
yeah, but definitely, like I've worked with Queen Naija. I've always wanted to work with her. I thought she was a dope talent. I just did a song with her called "Love Is" on her new album, Misunderstood. Um, of course, the Beyonces of the world, all of the big things, but mainly I'm just really into right now developing my own artist right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, how did you come of developing your own artist? Like, when did that idea come into your mind that you wanted to do that?
I want to say really about it's actually been something I saw a long time ago. Because when you look at all the major producers, from the Timberlands to Dr. Dre's, Puff, the list goes on. Dr. Dre, Jermaine Dupri, they didn't get popular by chasing the big artists. They got popular by bringing out their own artists.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time you heard of Snoop, Dr. Dre brought him out. The first time you heard of Big, Puff brought him out. Aaliyah, Timberland brought out Aaliyah. You know, the list goes on and on from Missy, all of them. You know, and to me, that's how you establish a legacy instead of chasing artists and chasing records. Just create your own thing. So that's always something I wanted to do growing up because I saw that growing up and I was like, man, that's crazy. Like they just bringing out all these amazing talents, you know, and it works.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because like when you think of like Jermaine Dupri and all of them, you think of like the people that they basically help push the stardom and stuff. So I definitely think you definitely got this. But what like to you what makes a good song?
To me, it's really about the people. Like I said, like when I did Walk Around the Club, Fuck Everybody, I knew that was going to be a hit because I know everybody feels like that someday. Like
Mm.
some don't feel like you in your own zone and you feel like walking around, you know, your job, your house, uh, uh, whatever at your school. You just I know you felt like walking in all your classes, like and telling your teacher, you know,
Yeah.
what's up, you know, and so to me, what makes a good song is just things that people can really relate to
hmm
and they can take with them, and it really relates from that, you know, from that aspect.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially given with like how so much like influence, well, is it influence I'm looking for? Influence like the people have with music today, for example, like TikTok. Everybody's making these dance challenges to these songs. And I feel like some people say that it's like, oh, everybody's catering to TikTok, but like clearly if your music can get somebody making up some 1, 2, 3 type of dance to it, then clearly you got the people on your side, you know?
I mean, and that's the thing about it. I never get caught up in the critics. You know, I hear people say it's like the funniest thing. They say, well, all you got to do is do this. Well, all you got to do is do that. Oh, all they did was do this. But they ain't nobody. They can't do it. You know, so
Right.
you know, I've heard people say that all the time. Oh, well, all you basically did was this. Well, why you ain't do it? You know, so
Mhm. Definitely. Why didn't they do it? Sitting there criticizing.
is that
What advice would you give to up and coming producers?
the main thing I would tell them is like bet on yourself no matter what. And don't get caught up into, you know, the hype and what's going on and what you see other people do. Like really run your race. And really just always uplift yourself. As a producer, a lot of times, you know, we're the first one called when it's time to create, when it's time to make stuff happen or they need things changed or whatever. They're blowing up your phone. Hey, bro, this, bro, that. But when they get to, you know, the Breakfast Club, these platforms, or even just a simple Instagram post, just to mention to say, hey, shout out to this person who actually put the whole vision together. That doesn't happen. It only happens a lot of times with producers and songwriters if the label or the artist feel they can benefit off of using your name, okay? But just, it's sad you have to say, you kind of got to get used to that and not let it bother you as much as possible. I used to be pissed off, like, oh, y'all ain't mention me, but it's cool. Like, you just have to be so focused that those things don't bother you, because the people who need to know who you are and what you've done, that's all that matters. And you'll continue to get work, And you just have to understand, most artists, they don't really think like that. Most labels don't think like that. If they can't sign you or control you, they're not going to mention you. That's not how it works. They're not going to want to put you in the videos. They're not going to, you know, just the small things that don't cost you anything, they're not going to do. So if you're doing this for the fame, if you're doing this for the whatever the clout is, whatever that means, it's not for you, because there will be times to where the artist, the label, you know, they'll act like, you know, they did the whole song by themselves. They thought of the whole concept by themselves. And you have to be cool with, you know, going on to the next project, going on to the next song. Don't even worry about it. Keep going. Because you can get caught up and you can get sidetracked and distracted in that and stop working, you know, trying to prove your point. But just keep working, and do you, and it'll work out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially talking with like how some artists don't really like include like the producer and all that, because it's always some debate on like who's the most important like person on a song, and a lot of people always bring the producer up in them debates because the producer makes the beat, you know. So I definitely feel like it's important to mention like that, not like being phased by that, because you know your opportunity will come, so don't really worry about it, you know.
Exactly. Because I hear so many like younger producers, they come to me like, man, I did this song, man. They ain't even shut me out on the interview. I say, hey, bro, welcome to the business. You know, it's just how it is. You know, most labels, like I said, they'll present you with some kind of management thing. Oh, who you signed to? Oh, okay, cool. If they can't get you on that, they're, you know, the chances of them showing that love. And keep in mind, it don't cost you nothing. It don't cost you nothing to add a producer to say, hey, man, shout out to him, man. He gave us a hit. It don't cost them nothing, but just keep building your brand, and they'll be begging you to put you in a video at that point.
Definitely. I definitely agree. Just have to charge it to the game and just keep it pushing. um
Going.
yeah. With like you work with a lot of Atlanta artists and basically like music, well, Atlanta music and stuff. So do you feel like you have a certain sound when it comes to producing your music?
Nah, not really. If you listen to a lot of the records I have, none of them really sound the same. Some of them are real trappy, some of them are real laid back and cool, depending on the time or whatnot. But nah, I don't really have a specific sound that I go after. But what ended up happening, like when I did California, it became so big, I just did a whole, damn near like a whole hard drive with those kind of beats, you know? So I did California, 2014, 2015. Living My Best Life, that beat was made around that time. On the Way with Luke Nasty was made around that time. That same beat, even Twerkulator beat was made around that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just about being patient, too, because a lot of times you get caught up on the sound, and that sound might not come back around for another 2-3 years. You know, it's just really about being patient, and the sound will come to you. You know, just do you, and somebody say, "Hey, man, this would be a great idea to try," and you'll have it ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You mentioned like the sound of music being gone for 2 years and stuff. Do you feel like, well, to me, I feel like a lot of people, like when Pop Smoke came out, uh, well, when he gained popular, a lot of people was doing like the little drill beats and stuff. Do you feel like a lot of like the sound of music, well, a certain like beat or sound, do you feel like it could become like too popular to the point where every producer is trying to do it and stuff? Do you feel like that ever happens in the music industry?
It happens all the time. Like, even like when, like I said, when I started sampling again in 2015, what people telling me is like, "Oh, why you sample? Why you do this? It's too much. It's too risky. It's too that." And now you look, every song on the radio now got a sample in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that just really boils down to, people like to copy success, and there's nothing wrong with it. I get it. But like you said, when the drill stuff came around with Pop Smoke, you know, everybody came out there. And it's crazy. Like, artists that come in the studio, they'll pay all this money, and they say, "Hey, man, I want you to give me a beat just like that." And I'm like, okay, well, cool. This is the easiest payday ever. They ain't even got to really create nothing. I can just copy some, give a similar feel to something. Yeah, I'll do that. So it's a lot of that going on. And that just happens because also we have, especially in the hip hop and the urban culture, we have an influx of new artists every day.
Definitely.
Yeah, rapping is the new basketball. It's the new selling drugs. Music is the new all of that. I mean, there's, especially now with the females, it's like every female that looks halfway decent nowadays, somebody got in their ear and say, I hear them all the time. They walk up to me, "Hey, man, I want to get with you. I'm ready to do music." I was like, okay. So when you have that many people trying to do music, it's only so many ways a song can sound good. Only so many patterns of drums can sound good. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with like hip hop music and like urban like music and stuff. Definitely the new basketball, because every single day it seems like it's a new artist. Like yesterday the freshman XXL cover was released, and I was like, I only knew like 4 people on the cover. And I was like, who is these other people? I've never heard them ever in my life. Like, I have not. It's like everybody is dipping their feet in the little hip hop industry pool trying to become a hip hop artist. And it's like, it got me thinking, like, is it really hard to become a hip hop artist? You probably just need a cool following, a nice beat, probably a TikTok also, and then boom, you can be a hit.
But I think that's what's going on right now. It's so many people who say that, but what ends up happening is, like, the artists, people who are really meant to do this and they really have a gift for it, they end up getting overshadowed by all these other people, because it's like a highway. So it's literally like a traffic jam of people doing music all the time. And it's to the point, like, even the consumers are tired of it. I'm pretty sure, you just graduated college. You know about at least 10 of your people that you go to school with that do music.
I do.
You know?
Yeah,
You know,
do.
and a lot of their stuff is terrible, but they're probably one of the most confident people out there, so it's very crowded right now. It's super saturated.
Yeah. So do you think people will like, well, in the hip hop industry, do you think people are gonna like shift to be like, yeah, this isn't for me, Do you think that would possibly happen in possibly this upcoming year or next year? Okay.
See, what happened was when I first started, you know, this is before technology was accessible to everybody. Okay. When I first started, you had to go to an actual studio. You actually had to go pay a real producer. You had to go like really invest into this. And it was very expensive at the time. Okay. The equipment to produce the music was very expensive. It wasn't accessible to everybody. Um, but what happened was these laptops, the phones, the technology made people to be able to do quality stuff, well, almost as good as quality as the studio, but good enough to get by, good enough to post, good enough to, you know, get some kind of following on these different apps. And that's what's going on now. So to where you used to have to go spend $3,000 on the MPC, another $2,500 just on sounds and a keyboard and all this other stuff. And then you had to go to a studio to spend about a cool another $1,500 in studio time, you know. So you're talking about a $10,000 investment now to where you can go to Walmart and get one of them little cheap computers. And if you know the right, you know, website to go to, you can download all that right in there for free.
Yeah, I definitely think like now making music and you can even say selling music, I guess. It's much easier for artists nowadays because previously, like when I was like little, you had to go to Target or Walmart or whatever to go buy physical CDs. Like artists had to basically promote their stuff in person, like going on talk shows and all that type of stuff. But now you can just be like, yeah, go stream my song on Apple Music. So it's like a huge shift in the music industry and stuff. So it's like it's so easy to promote it, it's so easy to create it, and it just questions like, oh, how much is this artist is putting into their music, you know?
And this is why you have so many one-hit wonders and you don't have that many superstars anymore. This is why. Because also as a consumer and as the public, we don't value it anymore like we used to, because we're like, okay, oh, you rap, oh, you sing, okay, you know, let me hear what you got. Okay, let me follow you around. And it's this cycle, so it kind of works out the whole it waters down the whole thing. So that's just really what it boils down to. You know, it's really a situation like it's a lot of people doing it right now. You know, like literally while we're doing this Zoom, people are calling me like, "Oh, I'm ready to get in the studio," and it's crazy. It's the ghetto out here right now.
The ghetto. I definitely, because as a consumer, like a person that's always listening to music, because I'm always listening to music. It helps me like calm down and all that type of stuff. It's always a new person. Like, is one person they like hype, the public be like hyped over them, and that's when maybe like give it like 3 weeks, it's a different person they're hyped over, and that's when it's just a continued cycle of everybody just this person we're hyped, we got this song, next artist. It's just a repeated cycle. So it's like it reminds me of this Beyonce interview when she was talking about how artists are just pushing out single after single, and it's not a very like good album. They're not pushing out good albums anymore, you know?
They're literally making songs for the next 3 weeks. That's it. They're shooting videos for the next 3 weeks. And where, you know, like you said, when you were smaller, when we were younger, when you had to go to Target and Walmart to go get, or the record store to get music, those songs stayed hot, those artists stayed hot for years. You didn't get tired of for years because you didn't hear them. There were no apps to where you heard the songs every 5 seconds. So we're now, it's speeding up now also because you're just consuming it more and more and more. You can't, if you go swipe on somebody's story or makeup tutorial, you're hearing the same song. So you get tired of it quicker too.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Compared to like if you had like the physical CD copy of it, you know.
Exactly. It's when the only time when you really heard music was if you was in your car at a party or in those kind of things, but you hear music everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
So the minute your song becomes popular, the clock starts ticking for you to really capitalize off that whole situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, it's like once you like, what's that artist's name? Oh my Koi, I think that's her name, the one that have that No More Party song with her. Like, I feel like
Ray?
yes. I feel like she everybody switched on her really quickly on social media, and like I feel like she had that one song and she had that hype and she probably didn't capitalize off it very quickly, so everybody just turned on her very quickly. Like the hate
It's
she
like,
was getting on social media was a
I'm
lot.
cool. Yeah, it's like, we cool. All right, that was cool
Yeah,
last done with that.
they
And that's,
literally they
it's sad. It's like, dang, y'all was just loving her. And
mm-hmm. Yeah, they like switched on her so quickly from saying like she didn't deserve the award nominations for like the BET Awards, or she's also on the cover of this year's XXL freshman list. She's on the cover of that. They said she didn't deserve that. So it's like it's just they switched on her really quickly.
and that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The music industry can be cruel sometimes.
I wouldn't even put that on the industry. That's just the world we live in now. It's
Mm-hmm.
you can be up now and then somebody forms an opinion. That's the dangers of social media. Like
Mm-hmm.
somebody form an opinion on you or what you have going on, and it can switch your whole narrative just that quick.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. Social media, well, now that I think about it, social media is a dangerous thing, especially with like you can just have this one person just post something and then it's like, oh, that's when everybody just like, oh yeah, you just like, what just happened? Y'all just was feeling me last week.
You see what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Mhm.
So, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, just really concentrate on what you're doing. Don't get too, excited over your praise. Don't get too, is this what they say? If you live for the cheers, you'll die by the booze.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's, just stay in the middle. You'll be fine.
Mhm. Well, since you talked about so much about music and such, what is like some things that you enjoy the most about your line of work?
I get to travel a lot, meet a lot of dope people, like yourself, and just really connect and just really learn different cultures, and it's dope. You get paid for it. I tell people all the time, I feel like I'm still an undergrad. Like I still feel like I'm in college. Like I literally get paid to do what I was doing in college.
Mm-hmm.
So
That must be
that's what
a wonderful
is
feeling.
it. Stress free for the most part. I mean, it has its problems at times, but what situation doesn't? But
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Like I pretty much come and go as I please. So it's a great situation.
Mm-hmm. So do you, well, you love like basically like you said, you basically getting paid for what you was doing in undergrad. Do you feel like it's any negatives to it or you just living life, you love it?
Oh, it's definitely negatives to it. I mean, the stigmas that come with it. Like when Love and Hip Hop came out, everybody swore because I'm a producer. It has some effect on your personal life a lot of times because of the stereotypes that everybody in the industry, they just a bunch of they just out here in the streets mess with anybody.
Mhm.
But that could possibly be the only you know thing of it. But other than that, it's for the most part it's cool.
That's good. That's good. You don't let the negative outweighs the positive. That's really good. Yeah. Do you have any like favorite projects that you worked on or are working on?
Yeah, I can't really tell you about those right now, but No, yeah, I've worked on all of my projects have been pretty dope. I don't have any studio horror stories at all. I haven't, been disrespected, nothing like that. A couple of misunderstandings, but nothing that couldn't have been hashed out with a quick text message or a call real quick, but yeah, I got a lot of, like I said, I'm working on my project right now. Like I said, I got Erica Banks on my first single. It's called Nutty Twerk. I just did a remix for Summer Walker's White Tea.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
on a Twerkulator type summer type vibe. So that'll be out, pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a couple other things. I don't like to really talk about those other projects because every time I talk about it, something happens with it. So I don't want to jinx it. But
Yeah.
you will be.
Yeah, I fully understand. I definitely understand. I low key be going with that also. So I definitely understand with that. So at the end of like interviews, we usually ask the person we're interviewing, what does true urban culture mean to you? Simply because it has a different definition depending on the person. So what does true urban culture means to you?
True urban culture really means, when I think of that name, I really think of like authentic
Mm-hmm.
things that's part of our culture. A lot of stuff is really like getting watered down right now. So it's important to make sure that the culture stays really authentic and really us. Because there's nothing worse than having to be as influential as I am into the culture and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to go talk to, someone outside the culture to get some kind of business done. And what you're, they're trying to tell you what you're doing.
With your culture.
Yeah, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
to me, that's always been something near and dear to my heart because I've seen it a lot of times, and that's how a lot of artists get. That's how a lot of artists fall off because they have people on their team, and it's not a racial thing by any means. It's more people who really not in the culture. They're more just kind of work inside the culture, but they're not really experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
So when artists in these situations come about, that's how they fall apart because they're advising them on the wrong song. They're advising them on the wrong thing to do, wrong thing to wear. And that people don't understand that really can make or break you.
Mm-hmm.
So to keep things true is really the only way we're going to keep the culture going.
Mm-hmm.
The only. So that's.
Agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you were saying, especially with like the people that's be telling people that's not a part of the culture and telling you how to basically like work through the culture and stuff. I definitely agree with that because I feel like it's so many people in the hip hop industry that basically have a popular name, they have a popular following and such, and they're stating their opinions on hip hop, but they're not particularly like a part of hip hop, if that makes sense. No racial.
It makes all the sense. I mean, because I know you run into it as a journalist, to where you might do a story on something or write an article or something. And if somebody that's in the house inside all the time is telling you what's hot, what's not hot, and I'm like, nah.
Definitely. Yeah, you're definitely like, no. But that's the end of the interview. I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity to me to interview you. I was so excited and nervous, but we got through it. But I learned so much about you.
Oh no, you're definitely good. So whenever you come to Atlanta, like make sure you hit me.
Yeah.
And I will Atlanta tour.
Well, thank you so much for this interview. I hope you have a very wonderful day. Also, stay safe. I know the pandemic is everything's slowly opening back up, but please stay safe also, okay?
We open in Atlanta. We've been open.
Yeah, I know that. I know that, but still, be safe.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, you too.
You too.
All right.